Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, in this crochet with me, I was just thinking what can I make that's really basic but also really handy. So I decided to make a little AirPods case made by using 2 mini granny squares. So I'm kind of tired of making these big projects like cardigans and jumpers and scarves, and I have a lot of unfinished crochet projects that are just underneath my bed, and I decided to make something small today. And in later videos I will try and finish the projects that I have not finished yet, because they're kind of piling up, and this is not even typically like me at all. I tend to finish my projects, but I've just been really lazy recently. This is actually really easy to make. I will link the pattern in the description box below so you can make it with me, and I made this pattern myself as well, so hopefully it's easy enough for you guys to understand. I'm going to start by picking some colors of yarn, and I have not used the color white in a very long time. I tend to use cream or off-white, never really white. So we're going to use that today, and I was going to use pink, but then I have a lot of pink crochet projects, so I'm going to use this light green instead. You can just use one color if you want, but to really see the granny square, I recommend using 2 different colors. And I'm going to use a 3mm crochet hook. This yarn does recommend a 4, but I like how it looks with the 3, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. Okay, so I kind of have a lot of plans for the new year. So one of them that is mostly crochet related, I want to start making things myself and making my own patterns and copying people's work. Like, let's say if I see something from Pinterest, and instead of scouring the whole internet to try and find a pattern to make this one thing, I would much rather try and make something by looking at a photo. So I've only been crocheting for a year, and I know all the basics of crocheting now. I know how to increase, decrease, aragurumi. What else do I know how to do? Grid patterns, and just whatever's related to crochet, I know how to do now. So to take my skills to the next level, I should be able to make something from just looking at something. And that's one of my tasks for 2025, is just to be more creative, make my work stand out a bit more, because I've been doing art ever since I was little, like painting and drawing and sewing and making things myself, and I want to implement that into the things that I crochet. So that is number 1. Number 2, I want to sell things. I want to sell some of the things that I've made, but the more I think about it, the more I think maybe it's not really sustainable long term, because if I want to make a whole business surrounded by things that I make myself, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I think it'll be a lot of pressure trying to keep up with all the orders if people do start to order a lot of things. And especially since I'm doing it by hand, I might feel a bit burnt out, you know when you just do things all the time and then you just think, oh, I don't want to do that, and then you might start delaying orders and cancelling some orders because you don't want to. I think here and there it would be nice to sell a few things. Maybe if I make something from a video, I can list it on a website saying, okay, this is for sale, you can buy this if you want, but not necessarily custom orders. So I still want to wrap my head around that. Another idea that I was thinking of is selling patterns as well. Because I love crocheting things, and especially since I plan on making more unique things, I could start selling my patterns so you guys can make what I make as well and add your own unique creative twist to it. I think that would be really nice. I think I really do need to wrap my head around Etsy, because when I first started an Etsy shop, I didn't even mention it to you guys when I first started it. I have a video on explaining what happened, but I did not read all the terms and conditions. There are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, especially with your pricing, because Etsy takes a certain percentage from your product, from the product that you sell, obviously for the listing fees and everything. So it's kind of hard to wrap your head around that type of stuff, so I'm going to have to do a lot of research or just sell my things on my own website. So that's something to think about for the new year. And I also want to implement a little bit more of myself into these videos, because I don't crochet all of the time, but I really enjoy making videos. So sometimes when I'm just thinking of what to upload, it's usually crochet related, but I love vlogging and I would like to give you an insight into my life a little bit more when I'm not crocheting. So I will put a poll or something so you guys can vote if you want to see vlogs, because I do a lot despite just crocheting all the time, despite the channel just being about crochet. So I think that would be really fun. And I think my last goal for 2025 is to upload videos more. I want to be more consistent, but the thing is, when the channel is just about crochet, you have to constantly be making something. And sometimes I don't feel like making something, but I feel like uploading a video. So I'm gonna try and switch up the content and just try something new. Okay, so these are the ideas for 2025, and hopefully I can execute all of them and we'll have a good productive year for this channel.
قسمة ضيزى إن هي إلا أسماء سميتموها إن هي إلا أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان إن يتبعون إلا الظن وما تهوى الأنفس ولقد جاءهم من ربهم الهدى أم للإنسان ما تمنى فلله الآخرة والأولى وكم من ملك في السماوات لا تغني شفاعتهم شيئا
Okay, so this is what the AirPods case looks like. I think it turned out so cute. I actually love how it turned out, and I like the drawstring. I braided the drawstring as well, so it looks very clean and very neat. And I went ahead and made another one using blue and white instead, and I prefer the blue and white one. I think the blue just screams winter. It kind of reminds me of a snowflake. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, and if you want to make one as well, click the link in the description box below. And today I didn't only want to crochet, I also wanted to bake. I have not baked anything in a very, very long time, and I was craving brownies, so I started making them. If you are interested, the recipe for the brownies will be linked in the description box below, as well as the pattern for this granny square AirPods case.
قالوا تالله تفتأ تذكر يوسف حتى تكون حرضا أو تكون من الهالكين قال إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون يا بني اذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف وأخيه ولا تيأسوا من روح الله إنه لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون فلما دخلوا عليه قالوا يا
I was really contemplating on what exactly to bake, and usually I like to make muffins or cakes or cookies, But I love brownies, but I don't even make them that often because of the amount of steps that go into it. But then when I finally get into baking the whole thing, then it doesn't really seem that bad in the end. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. And earlier on I was talking about how I want to try and switch up the content for my YouTube channel. And the thing is, when I feel burnt out from crocheting, that's when I don't upload. Like, I won't upload for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't think it's been as long as a month. I hope not, anyway. But it takes me a while to get out of the rut because you're always trying to take ideas out of your head and crochet something. And sometimes it just puts a lot of strain. Like, you don't want to make anything repetitive, but you also want to make something that's nice and something that's unique, you know? And you're always searching for ideas, and it comes to a point where it does get a little bit frustrating and you kind of, strain yourself trying to think of a good video idea. So I think during times like that, it doesn't happen that often, but during those periods of time, I think it would be very beneficial for me to continue creating content, but that's not related to crocheting, so I can give myself a little bit of a break. And I can show you what I like to do for fun as well. I do like crocheting for fun, don't get me wrong, but I love sewing. I like making my own clothes as well, but there isn't really much content on me making clothes, so that could be something to implement in 2025. And I also like knitting, and I did upload a couple knitting videos, but I'm going to make more projects as well. So I want to get really into that and make my own jumpers and outfits and everything. I think that'll be really fun. And painting, surprisingly. Maybe not painting, I think that's a bit boring. I don't know, I'd have to find a way to make it interesting. And probably even baking as well, because that is really fun. And maybe even a little bit of my personal life when I go out with my friends, or I'm just spending the day by myself, or just things like that, you know? So that's currently what I have on my mind for content for 2025. Oh my gosh, I also need to open an Instagram account. I still don't have Instagram, which I think I'm a bit behind. So yeah, I'll download that, make an account, post in my stories and stuff so I can interact with you guys a little bit more, and you can vote on my stories and respond to the stories as well. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
عزيز مسنا وأهلنا الضر وجئنا ببضاعة مزجاة فأوفلنا الكيل وتصدق علينا إن الله يجزي المتصدقين قال هل علمتم ما فعلتم بيوسف وأخيه إذ أنتم جاهلون قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي قد من الله علينا إنه من يتق ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين قالوا تالله لقد آثرك الله علينا وإن كنا لخاطئين قال لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين.
Okay, so this is how the brownies turned out, and obviously they are absolutely amazing, and without even trying them, I know they taste really good. I'm not just saying that because it's my mom's recipe, but I've made these hundreds of times and they always taste the same. Alright guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the new year.